Life in the fast lane.
I wasn't expecting that. You threw me off. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the Zamboni Wrestling Podcast. This week, without our faithful Nick Bartlett.
Yeah, I know, we're a man down.
Yeah,
already.
1 man down.
Like, how many episodes in are we?
This is episode 3, technically.
Technically, yeah. So, and a man down already. Wow.
Yeah.
Bodes well for the future, doesn't it? Yeah, cool.
What are we, the Shield?
Yes, he has not renewed his contract post-WrestleMania season, so yeah, rather than have him job on TV pointlessly, we just let him go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going on with us. So, what's going on in the WWE universe, and Tobi?
Oh, shit tons.
Shit tons has. But yeah, just to clarify, we're going to do 2 episodes, so this is purely the Fastlane review. All the shit that's been going on otherwise in between Elimination Chamber and Fastlane, and what happened this week on Raw and SmackDown. That'll be in the other episode that goes up at the same time as this one. So yeah, this is purely about Fastlane 2019, hence the little ditty at the beginning. And yeah, totally not the pay-per-view you were expecting originally, was it, Tobi?
God, no. No, it was way better than I was expecting. Which, I mean, I was expecting shite, that it was not going to be worth staying up for at all. And it was, actually. It's, for a pay-per-view called Fastlane, it was definitely swerve after swerve. Like, just random shit happening.
Bro, we need the swerve. That's my Vince Russo impression. Yeah. Well, I couldn't see any of those changes coming, to be honest. It's been a long while since we've just had a match card change in the middle of the pay-per-view. Not once. Not twice. 3 times. Because we had a random handicap match thrown in, a one-on-one match became a 4-way, and the title, the heavyweight championship became a triple threat.
Yep.
All in the same pay-per-view. That's mad. Utterly mad. And that's not all. A load of other crazy shit happened as well.
It just kept going. Like, it genuinely just kept going. It felt like they turned around and went, this is one of the worst pay-per-views of the year. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, usually it is literally, okay, we know who the Royal Rumble winner is. We know who is going to be whoever won the Elimination Chamber and whatever the stipulation for that was, whether it was for the title or whether it was for number 1 contendership or whatever. But yeah, usually Elimination Chamber is where they start setting up all the title matches and everything. And then other random matches like, the part-timers coming back for their one night of glory for the year, etc. That sort of stuff. That's piling in. But no, not this year, boys and girls. This year at Fastlane, it was not the filler pay-per-view. I can see how some people might think it was, because, we had how many title matches? Like 5? And not one of them did the champions lose.
Nope.
Well, not one. Although probably no. Did they lose? Did any champion lose? No, not one of them retained by DQ, did they? So every single champion won with a decisive victory, which is rare.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking rare.
That is definitely rare. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't stay up. I managed to go all day blocking out social media. Did not have anything spoiled. Although you told me about Andrade and Ray no longer being on the pre-show and what happened there. But yeah, I actually did watch the pre-show. Based on the fact that you said, yeah, because it does have storylines that lead into the rest of the night and stuff. It was definitely actually worth the watch. Having the tag match for a decent 10-15 minutes, that was a good match. Preceded by Kofi being... they had that Kevin Owens interview first, didn't they?
Yeah, the Kevin Owens interview, nothing special there.
Just a repeat of what he'd been saying on SmackDown for the last couple of weeks, sort of thing.
Yeah, and then the New Day appear up behind him, and
Kofi was all like, I don't have any problem with you. And Kevin Owens was like, oh, well, thanks. And they go their separate ways, and then Big E and Xavier are like, yeah, okay, let's go and have our tag match then. And Kofi's like, come on, yeah, get excited, New Day, yo, and all this malarkey. I don't think they've ever said New Day, yo. But anyway, some random dude, literally the most random guy they could have possibly found backstage, because I've never seen that guy before.
Clipboard holder number 3.
He literally just walked up and was like, Kofi, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have to come back to this anyway. He says, Kofi, the McMahon family would like to talk to you about the WWE title match tonight.
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry, he just says the WWE title match. And they're like, oh, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's going to get added to the match, etc., etc. And off he goes. And that's not referred to again. Well, obviously the commentators bang on about it, but you don't see any more of Kofi for the rest of the pre-show.
No.
But it was a good storyline. It was cool to see Christian on the panel. Always got a second for Captain Charisma.
Yeah, I love Christian.
He's always one of my faves. Iconics actually did a pretty good interruption interview, I thought. Yeah. The future is indeed iconic. Literally the only bad thing about the whole pre-show for me, bearing in mind I don't usually watch them because I usually think they're rubbish, was that the coach is still on it.
Yeah, completely agree.
When he even turned around, when they were talking about like tag team title reigns, and Christian was like, "Oh, yeah, I've had like 9 of them, right?" And then Coach is like, "Yeah, I've had 1. I literally felt physically ill when he turned around and said that he'd had a tag team title run."
Has he?
I don't remember it. Probably, but I think I banished it from my mind forever, and I don't even want to look it up and be reminded of what happened there. Who put that shit, if it did? Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I thought even the pre-show was worth watching. It wasn't just the usual 4 suspects chatting a load of crap the whole way through.
No, it wasn't. They actually put a bit of content in, which is a done fucking rarity.
It was very rushed at the end, though. You could tell Coach was like, "Oh yeah, I've got to say this, because this man told me to say this. We've only got this many seconds left."
Right.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, good one. Okay, so we move on to the main card. We'd already had a segment during the pre-show of Miz backstage with his dad.
Yep.
And Shane coming up and being all like, "Oh yeah, okay, you ready to do this?" And they'd said that was going to be the opening match. So if you watched the pre-show, you knew how the pay-per-view was going to kick off. But it kicked off with the Usos versus the Miz and Shane McMahon, the co-besties, McMiz, Miz and Mac, whatever you wanted to call that team.
Spoiler.
Well, I'm sure if you're going to listen to the review show, you know what happened.
Yeah,
I'm going to listen to the reviews first, and then watch the pay-per-views. Okay, I'll tell you that we'll talk about the outcomes last from now on, just for you, Tobi, okay?
Yay.
Right, so, SmackDown Tag Team title match. Now, I honestly, I noticed that I didn't bother to call them the Super Kick Bros.
Yep.
I actually called them by their real name, because that was probably the most enjoyable Usos match I've seen in a good long while.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
From both sides, they were absolutely brilliant. Listening to them banging on about, "Oh yeah, the Usos are the greatest tag team ever," and they took offence to the Miz and McMahon using that term, etc. It's like, they're actually kind of proving why in this particular match. It was to a higher quality than the previous one. The previous one was good. I thought this one was better. Could mainly be because of that absolutely ridiculous spot in the middle of the match where I'm not going to bother pretending I know which one's which, but and Uso went for the splash, and Shane McMahon intercepted him in midair.
Yeah,
that was absolutely ridiculous.
And he went for like a drop kick thing. He hit him in the leg, but
it was like he was doing coast to coast. And to be fair, that was always going to be ridiculously difficult to time.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, Lord
who knows how high an Uso can fly.
Who knows how many times they rehearsed that before they attempted it, and how successful Shane was even then. after like 10 attempts, he was like, "Look, as long as you hit me somewhere, even if it's like in the foot or the hand, then
I'll go down.
They're still going to go, holy shit," which they did. But yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant spot. Really enjoyed it. The whole match was very well paced for the opening match of the night. It got the fans energized. They were all behind Miz, hometown hero, and everything. His dad's in the front row. The crowd really into this straight away. You'd think that they might have held on and had it later on in the night, really. But yeah, opening match really got the crowd, which kept them in a good mood for the rest of the show.
Yes,
don't you think?
Did, yeah.
Apart from during the handicap match, but we'll get to that. Now, we've been saying... Now, obviously, Usos won, as I already said. But we've been saying since the very first episode we did, back in the Royal Rumble episode, when they won the titles, we're going to end up with Shane versus Miz at WrestleMania, didn't I?
So what are we getting?
No, hold on. That's we said that. Right? We all pretty much agreed.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we were talking on the last episode when we were doing the Elimination Chamber one and talking about building up to Mania, that we assumed Fastlane was going to be when the turn happened, when they lost their rematch. because the rematch had been announced by the time we did the episode, I think.
Yeah.
So we assumed that this pay-per-view was going to be the one where it happened at, right?
Right.
And I sort of semi-suggested, if you recall, if you go back and listen, that it would be great if it was Shane who did the heel turn rather than Miz, because Miz has been a career heel. Very rarely has he ever been a face, like now, and like once when he first started using the figure 4 leg lock, and that's about it in however many years it's been. And I was like, oh yeah, what if we had Shane? And we kind of just glossed over it instead.
Yeah.
Now, halfway through the match, did Miz hit skull crushing finale, didn't he? And went for the pin, but no, it was literally right after that spot, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So Shane was still comatose or whatever in the ring, struggling to get out, and the referee was busy dealing with him and rolling him out the ring. And everyone's like, come on.
No. Miz is pinning him, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, as they do. And it was blatantly more than 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And Miz kind of looked over at Shane a couple of times after Uso kicked out. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's probably going to be Miz who turns then. Because, he can now, based on that little exchange, he's going to say, I had the match won, and it's only because of you that it carried on and we ended up losing, so I blame you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And it would have made sense.
But no!
We got way better.
We got way better than that when, out of absolutely nowhere, Shane McMahon blasts the crap out of the Miz from behind after embracing Miz's father in the front row, and then continues to batter the hell out of him. And then grabs Miz's dad's face, shoves him on his ass. He's still in the audience. He hasn't gotten in the ring or anything or jumped the guardrail. No, Shane has just grabbed Miz's dad's face, pushed him back into his seat, and then gone over and put Miz in like a weird triangle choke thing on the floor in front of his dad, and then off he goes.
Yeah. I like the way his dad is there, like, he doesn't really quite know what to do because he knows he's got to be part of it in some way.
He was very like, hey,
stop
you,
that.
you stop doing that to my son. Stop hurting him. No, that's not right.
He's a big boy. Leave him alone.
Shame on you. Yeah. Yeah, very much like that. But it was done so very well because that went on for quite a while, didn't it? They lost. They embraced they embraced in the ring, helping each other out of the ring. They go over to Mrs. Dad and sort of like, oh, sorry, Dad, let you down. And this went on for quite a while. Quite a while that went on.
Yeah.
And like literally, Miz starts walking away as if he's heading to the back. Shane takes like literally 2 steps in the same direction
and then just floors him.
Literally, just as I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, that's it then. It's not happening tonight. BAM! And literally, in the split second where he's doing a little run up, I think I was in the middle of rolling a cigarette or something, but I just suddenly went, yes! Yes, Shane's turning, and off he went. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
I did too. And one thing that really solidified it being fantastic was a moment a bit later in the night I'm going to kind of jump to, was somebody goes to interview him and ask why he's attacked. Why have you attacked poor Miz?
Kayla Braxton. Yeah.
That's the one. And he just kind of looks at her and goes, and walks off. And I was just like, that's the perfect reply. That's all you needed. That's all you needed.
Yeah, he's got to save his response to SmackDown, which he did.
Yep.
So, yeah. As we anticipated, we're getting The Miz versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 35. Excited for that, Tobi?
It'll be good, yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair...
the way they've been performing recently, it'll be good.
Yeah. They're both seasons guys who knows what they're doing, know when to pull off the decent spots and things like that. So I'm expecting a decent match. Yeah,
me too.
Loved it. And what a shock. Because like the Cleveland audience were not expecting that at all, were they?
No, they weren't. And it's funny because Miz was wearing the like Cleveland homeboy t-shirt and Shane ripped it off him and that got a huge pop.
Yeah. The chorus of boos rained down on Shane O'Mac after that. Yeah. So then we moved on to the SmackDown Women's... Oh, sorry. What did Nick think? Nick has sent us his thoughts from beyond. So we do... While he's not here physically and audibly, he is here in spirit. So, Did he have anything interesting to input in that one?
He's pretty much said most of what we have, as well as practically zero reaction from his dad for most of heel turn. He said he wasn't expecting to be able to say he's looking forward to their Mania match, but he is now.
Okay, cool.
And I presume there's a press F for respects.
More than likely. So yeah, moving on then. So the SmackDown Women's Championship match between the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, and God's greatest creation, Mandy Rose. Just before we talk about the match, they had the segment where she was interviewed. Was that on the pre-show?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Why did Sonya Deville do the majority of the talking in that? What was with that EC3 interruption? Well, again, Sonya Deville did all the talking.
EC3 has been a bit weird lately. I'll come back to it in the other episode, but
he lost to like Tyler Breeze on Main Event or whatever this week. What? Anyway, yeah, Fastlane.
Yeah,
Fastlane.
Before that match, though, before the SmackDown Women's title match, was the first of 3 Elias appearances.
Oh, I was going to talk about the Elias appearances all in one hit.
No. We'll talk about them all in one hit, but that's where the first one was.
Right, okay.
So, there we go. Yeah, SmackDown Women's Championship. It's all right.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special, was it?
No.
It was decent. It was a decent bout, but yeah, it was like SmackDown TV quality, not.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Not
SmackDown
pay-per-view.
main event quality, to be honest.
Well, no.
It was just an okay match.
It was very like awkward. In moment, like, there was a moment where Mandy had Asuka out for a fireman's carry, and then I think the idea was that she was supposed to then drop her on her face, and she kind of just flopped her down on her face instead. That didn't really work. A couple of other like missteps through the course of the match. I don't know if it's just like nerves or whatever it is, but on Rose's part, Deville kind of got involved a couple of times just with like visual distractions for Asuka.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how the setup for the ending occurred in a moment. But why did she do that twice?
I don't know.
Did she just do it the first time on the wrong side way too early? And just thought, oh shit. Because there's no way she was supposed to do it twice. Because there was like no reaction to her doing it the first time. It's all like, okay, what's she doing?
Yeah, it was just
And
like,
then she just
okay,
did nothing.
She's looking under the ring. That's odd. And then walked off. Like, literally looked and went, this is the wrong side.
So the outcome of the match in the end was Sonya Deville had lifted up the ring apron to get a weapon of some kind to help Mandy win the match somehow. And she pulls out a kendo stick. And there's, the apron itself is then like left all haphazardly on the side of the ring. And Mandy goes to hit the ropes. And they said that she tripped on the ring apron being there. And then Asuka just kicks her in the face. She hits the ropes, falls down, by keeping her like leg extended to make it look like she tripped over. And yeah, so basically she stands up and Asuka just kicks her in the face, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, done, dusted, and successful retention for the Empress. And then afterwards, Sonya Deville's all like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I cost you the match. Please forgive me." And Rose is having none of it.
Yeah, she's like, bitch, please.
But when you look back on the footage, like the ring apron was nowhere near where her foot was, so it just looked like she just fell over for no reason.
Yeah.
There was a weird audible noise when she did it, though. I don't know if the kendo stick had been placed on the apron and that's what she hit her foot on, but nobody saw that, so they just made up a rubbish excuse on the commentary. Because they're usually just staring at the screens in front of them, even though that was the side of the ring that's right in front of them anyway.
Yeah.
They're just staring at the monitors, which is just looking at what we're looking at. So they might not have noticed. There was a weird audible crack when Mandy sort of tripped.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't great.
No.
I think that's the main takeaway from this particular...
Yeah. The kick to the face was good afterwards, though.
Oh, yeah, because she did proper kick her one.
Oh, yeah. Asuka nearly took her fucking jaw off.
It was... yeah, I guess that's a payback for dropping her on her neck the other week.
Yeah, probably.
So, right, okay, so that's that covered. Then we finally get an answer as to what the hell was going on with Kofi and the McMahons backstage.
Yeah.
So we come to find the camera just outside the door of whatever locker room Vince is sitting in. And Kofi's just stood outside of it. And then Xavier and Big E walk up and they're like, so yeah, what happened then? And he's like, I haven't gone in there yet. I've knocked on the door a couple of times and they've told me to wait. And it's like, right, well that was an hour ago. Like, you gotta go in there, you gotta demand what's yours, man, and all this malarkey. So they drag him in. And Vince is just sitting there on the phone, and he's like, well, what are you doing? And they're like, Mr. McMahon, how much longer are you going to make this man wait? And he goes, what are you talking about? I've been waiting for him. And he's the only one in there. It's like, right, so Kofi said someone told him to wait. He's knocked on the door several times, and now Vince is saying that none of that occurred, and Vince has just been sitting there waiting for an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Either Vince is just his character is suddenly a really bad liar, or they didn't go over the lines properly.
Potentially the second.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the second one too. And then so basically Big E and Xavier plead the case for Kofi deserving to be put in the title match for a triple threat match, and Vince McMahon says, you know what? It's now gonna be a triple threat match. Now, Kofi, I see you're dressed for competition. I suggest you go to the ring because that match is next. And off he goes. And everyone's like, oh my god, Kofi's getting a title match, and the title match is now. Now, Kofi gets in the ring, and even, I don't know what the ring announcer's name is, but even he had said, here, this is now a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then he's halfway through the announcement, and then the timekeeper comes and tells him to change the announcement to, no, now Kofi Kingston's facing the Bar in a handicap match. Tornado rules, so both Cesaro and Sheamus are in the ring at the same time.
Which, by the way, about 30 to 40 seconds earlier, I'd said something to Nick randomly about you don't see a lot of like tornado tag stuff anymore. And then there it was, 30 seconds later. I was like, all right.
Yeah, but for a handicap match, I'd rather it happen in an actual tag match. But we got that. Too. No, we didn't. Anyway, so a 5-minute beatdown of Kofi.
Yeah.
Basically. He rallied back a couple of times, but not with much of anything. It was just the Bar double teaming him for literally 5 to 8 minutes. New Day finally came out, despite the fact that Vince had barred them from ringside. They eventually did come down, but then got blasted by Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, who they had beaten earlier in the night. Yeah. And then, New Day just left decimated Kofi in the ring, and the other two in the rampway just decimated, and that's it.
Yeah. And the general thought afterwards is you're like, okay, fine. This is going to be a beatdown so that he's fucked for the triple threat later, and he's going to be like the underdog thing of he comes into the match absolutely bollocks, but he still almost wins it, but it's not Mania yet, so he's probably not going to win it. But, we'll wait and see what happens later.
Yeah, but that was the crux of that particular contest. Moving on then. So, this was the match that I thought was going to steal the show. And it came close.
It came very close.
And that was the Triple Threat Raw Tag Team Championship match, featuring Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, and the new NXT call-ups, Ricochet and Aleister Black, and of course, the holding champions, The Revival. So yeah, I mean, I thought this match, as much as it felt that this is just the best way to feature Ricochet and Black for the worldwide audience who might not have been watching SmackDown and Raw, who may only watch pay-per-views. Yeah, we got this now. Come check this out. They might not watch NXT either. They might literally just watch the pay-per-views or whatever. Or it's playing in a bar somewhere. I don't actually know. They don't let that happen anymore, do they? They don't let bars show the pay-per-view in the States anymore. Am I right in thinking that?
I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, not relevant. But yeah, great match all over again. Some beautiful spots from all competitors involved. There was only one thing that made me really cringe, and that was when Ricochet gave Scott Dawson the Hurricane Rana, off the turnbuckle to the outside on top of everybody else.
Oh God, yeah, and that didn't go well.
No, it didn't. It did not. It looked like Ricochet really did himself a mischief there when he sort of landed on his neck and then face on the ring apron.
Dawson didn't land much better.
No, but thankfully both guys came out unscathed. But yeah, it did not look pretty at all, that particular exchange. Kind of felt that Gable and Rude were a bit of an afterthought. A little bit. It seemed to be a lot more focused on the Revival and Black and Ricochet.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's about time the Revival got some fucking spotlight.
To be fair, I mean, I knew that this was going to be great straight away because these were all six guys were guys who had come up through the NXT system.
Yep.
All of them. So they know exactly what each other can do. And they just put on a barn burner. It was just a great match. Another beautiful spot was when Ricochet went... Oh, this is right at the end. So Ricochet's in the ring. I think he's beating on one of the Revival. It's either Wilder or Dawson. And then he notices that Rude had thrown Black into the barricade. And Ricochet then goes running from one corner to the opposite corner and just does a somersault plancher over the turnbuckle. Not just ropes, over the turnbuckle. So you've got to clear that as well, and the ring steps to take out Bobby Roode. And as he does that, Chad Gable tags himself in, because obviously it's triple threat tag rules, and anybody can tag in anybody. Chad Gable tags him by slapping him on the side as he goes flying through the air. And then Gable gets in the ring, has a bit of an exchange with whichever one of the Revival it was. No, it was Dawson. And then Dawson lifts him up for an electric chair, drops Gable across the top rope. He turns around, shatter machine, 1, 2, 3, top guys, out. And the Revival retain. Another beautiful spot, I think Gable hit a German suplex on either Black or Rude. Sorry, no, Black or Ricochet, and Dawson hit him with a splash. That was another good combo.
Yeah, there was a
well.
sequence in the middle. I think I've got it here. It's the deadlift German to a frog splash to a shooting star press.
Yeah, that was it.
That was fucking sick.
And then we had
the whole bit.
We had the sort of move flurry at the end there, didn't we? Where Rude suddenly hit his DDT, then he got a black mass.
Yep.
Gable had already been taken out with the shatter machine, and then they hit one of the Revival with the old 630.
Yeah.
Didn't quite hit that perfectly.
No.
But, it's Ricochet. He hits it perfectly every other time. And it's not like he injured the guy or anything, so...
No, exactly. It'll do.
It'll do, pig. That'll do. Yeah, and the Black and Ricochet are the guys left standing tall at the end of it. So, like I say, it was mainly done to highlight them. But the right guys won, in my opinion. The Revival deserved to have that title run go on a little bit longer. That was a decisive victory in a great match.
Yeah, it was. It made all the teams look great. None of them came out looking like a weak team.
No.
At all.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Oh, no, sorry. What did Nick think? Or did you have anything else you wanted to say about that match?
Let's have a look. So from Nick's notes, we've got... There is so much talent in this match. How the hell is WWE going to ruin it this time? It looked like at the start it was going to be a tornado tag. Because that's what it looked like. He's got here holy crap, triple threat tornado tag. Is it my birthday? Oh, no, apparently not.
No, sadly not.
Yeah. Because, again, because we'd just been talking about it, we were like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking even better.
They were just having their general ruck at the beginning.
Yeah. Bit of a ruckus, and then we sorted it all out and gone to a proper match.
As they do.
His last sort of note here is that he wasn't really sold on Ricochet and Black being as a team, but that did it for him.
Well, he needs to be watching NXT a bit more then, doesn't he? Or Raw and SmackDown, where they've been teaming.
I don't think he was really into hoping for them to just be the singles guys.
Well, yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, and it'll be good when it comes.
Yeah, maybe they'll even have a feud.
Ooh,
because they haven't done that yet. At least to my knowledge, not on NXT anyway. Right, moving on.
Yeah.
So, as we've alluded to earlier, The pre-show did not feature the originally featured match of Andrade versus Rey Mysterio.
Yep. So,
No. What happened instead, Toby?
during the pre-show, was it? Carmelo's walking around backstage with a clipboard and pen and asking people to sign a petition to get R-Truth a rematch for his US title.
Because they're not automatic anymore, of course.
No, something we'll talk about later. And who's it she goes to? Zelina Vega. And
She's talking to one of the makeup ladies originally, and the makeup lady then walks off, and Zelina Vega is sat directly behind her.
Yeah.
As like, so Carmella could quite easily see her sat there the entire time then, right? Yeah.
And they're sort of, Zelina Vega's sort of, giving her lip. And then Joe appears and is like, I don't give a shit. Whoever fights me, I'll fucking have him. So, and he signs it. And he's like, yeah, I'll sign it. And then the match turns into a fatal four-way, similar to the SmackDown match he won the title in.
I thought it was done very well, that promo backstage with Joe walking and going, yeah, even I'll sign it. Okay, he wants a title match? You can have, we're at a pay-per-view. Yeah. If they got time for it, well, let's do it. I didn't really see how the other two suddenly got thrown in, but they just did. And my first initial reaction is, why not just do this on the pay-per-view in the first place?
Yeah.
Why this is an exact repeat of what we already saw less than a week ago. Why did they not just have it on the pay-per-view? Can you imagine like how much of a bigger reaction it would have been if Joe had won his first title on a pay-per-view and not on a random SmackDown?
Yeah, when you put it that way, that's pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah, it just made no sense to me. It's like they just turned around and suddenly were like, oh, crap. No, we're not doing a 3-hour pay-per-view. We're doing a 4-hour pay-per-view. We need another match.
No, it's almost like they forgot they had...
No, we don't want truth, Joe. Let's have a 4-way. We did that last week. In fact,
do it again.
It's just mad. I don't get why they did that. It was good. A very enjoyable match. Overall, what you would expect from these four guys. But how many Hurricane Ranas did Rey Mysterio want to do in that match? It was like he was trying to set a record or some shit. It's like, I know when I talk about Roman Reigns doing 20 Superman punches, but this is how excessive this became. Yeah. To me, anyway, while watching this. It's like, okay, that's another Hurricane Rana. Okay, so he just did a Hurricane Rana on both of them at the same time. Do I count that as 1 or 2? It's literally 7 or 8 Hurricane Ranas of the same type.
A couple of people threw Hurricane Ranas out anyway.
A situation, the setup for it was different every time, but it always just led into a Hurricane Rana. And Ray counters into a Hurricane Rana. A Hurricane Rana. I was just like, oh my god, Ray. you do have other moves in your arsenal.
Not just the 619.
It was kind of crazy. But the ending came when Rey Mysterio went for his tribute to Eddie Frog Splash. And did Joe move? Or did he get his knees up?
I think he moved.
He moved, right. Yeah, so Joe moved anyway. And while Ray is all like, ow, my stomach, my gut, my chest. Joe just suddenly grabbed him, cocaine a clutch, and Ray was put to sleep. And that was it. Joe retains. His first title defense was a success. But I felt that Ray passed out, bunny ears, very quickly. Didn't you think?
Yeah, there was very little fight in that, wasn't there?
Yeah. I was like, oh. I thought he was going to hold out a little bit longer. And maybe, like, one of the other guys may look like they're starting to get in, but then it's too late. No, bash, he's out. Oh.
Yeah, it was, 5 seconds?
No, we're not talking like
seconds?
Immediate. It wasn't even that. It was like 5 seconds at the most. I was like, okay, weird.
Might as well pin the bloody kid.
Yeah. Never mind. But yeah, that was that. So Joe retained. I'm just glad Joe retained. That's all I care. I was happy that the Revival retained, and I was happy that Joe retained.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
And obviously, I've already said it, but yeah, everyone retained. But those were the 2 that I was most pleased with. Okay, let's move on to our third tag team title match of the night.
Oh yeah!
Can you believe that?
Didn't even realise that.
Can you believe that?
3 tag title matches in one night.
In one night, yes.
God damn.
However, this was by far the worst.
Unfortunately so, yes.
The Boston Hug Connection, Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Tamina and Nia Jax.
I think this will be the third episode in a row where at least one of us says, how the fuck is Tamina still employed?
It's mad. It's mad. My very first note is, can Jax and Tamina ever wrestle without botching? Ever? Is there ever going to be a match where there isn't, one singular botch?
Oh, God.
Because someone is going to get seriously hurt eventually.
Yeah, they will.
And thankfully, it wasn't last night. Because that, pop-up Samoan drop double team they were going for, that the Usos managed to pull off easily enough.
Mm.
And considering that Sasha Banks weighs like a third of what Nia Jax must weigh.
Yeah.
And I'm not being harsh. That's realistic from what I'm looking at on TV.
Yep.
And Nia Jax is supposed to be super strong and stuff. And yeah, she kind of just flumped to the floor. There was some sort of weird miscommunication with shifting in weight of stuff, but yeah, Sasha got lucky there.
Yeah,
in my opinion, very, very lucky. This match, seemingly to me, it wasn't actually about the tag team championships. It was all about what happened after the tag team championship match.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, they were just a back and forth tag match that you'd expect to see on any Raw or SmackDown. Bayley, Hurricane Runners, there's that word again, Nia Jax, and pins her, and that's it. And before they can really finish announcing your winners and still the Raw Women's Tag, no, it's not even Raw, the Women's Tag Team Championships, Jax and Tamina are all over them like a bad rash and just battering them. Bayley gets super kicked in the face on the outside, which somehow completely incapacitated her for the rest of what occurred. Which went on for a while. Banks got thrown over the announce table. Fair enough. Now Beth Phoenix was doing guest commentary for this match.
Woo!
As because it's women's revolution stuff, and apparently, Beth really big on that, like they all are. It's like, why is it Beth every time? Is it because Edge is always taping Edge and Christian show shit, and she's just with him all the time, so she's available, or what? Quite
possibly, yeah.
No, I love a bit of the glamazon, but yeah, this was weird. So she gets up from the announce table. Obviously, all of them do, because Sasha Banks just got thrown across the damn thing. And she's positioned herself in front of the table in the direct aftermath of this. And Tamina comes up to her and gets all up in her face. And after a few seconds of trash talking between one another, Beth eventually lamps Tamina one. And then Jax bulldozes through Beth. And they throw her in the ring, continue to batter her for a bit. Natalya comes out to make the save, but she also gets taken out. And then it's just Jax and Tamina walking up the ramp as Beth and Natalya and Boston Hug are left lying. And it seemed like this whole match was just to set up some weird-ass feud involving Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Natalya.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've always loved Beth Phoenix. But do I want to watch that?
The problem is, it's like, I quite like Beth Phoenix's finisher, but is she realistically going to be able to pull it off on Jax or Tamina?
Well, all they've got to do is jump up in the air and fall forward.
Well, there's a pause.
Okay, we shouldn't have to do that. But
I know, but theatrics and all.
No, never mind that.
I know.
Would you want to watch it anyway? Even if she had a finisher that she could just pull off in with no effort, would you want to see? Oh, Beth Phoenix is back! Yay! With Natalya, yay! What year is it?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't mind seeing it, but I'm not craving it.
Do you think it's worth a WrestleMania spot?
No.
No, definitely not. No. Maybe on a throwaway pay-per-view. Maybe at Backlash in a month or whatever. Yeah. But really?
Fuck. It's just another spot taken by a random quote-unquote legend that could have gone to literally anyone else.
Well, they could end up having a multi-team match for Mania. Because Iconics have thrown their name in the ring. They called out Boston Hug, as we mentioned on the pre-show. And they did it again on SmackDown.
Okay.
So, yeah, there seems to be something brewing between Boston Hug and the Iconics over on the SmackDown brand. Because as we pointed out previously, Boston Hug are defending the titles on not just Raw and SmackDown, but NXT as well. So, yeah, they're expected to turn up as and when.
I'm hoping we get at least one title defense against an NXT team, whether it's against a group of teams or not. At least one NXT women's team in the next 2 months.
It's going to have to be the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, because they're like the only actual tag team. Yeah, there's Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, but they are not ready. As I said on the previous episode, they are not ready to be getting in the ring with Banks and Bayley. Whereas Shirai and Sane definitely are. So, yeah, that's what I would like to see. Well, to be fair, at Mania, what they should have is Boss and Hug versus a Raw team, a SmackDown team, and them.
Yes, they should, yeah.
Granted, it's another 4-way tag match, but it's the women this time, so that's at least somewhat new.
And it gets more of the women on WrestleMania, because there's always that thought. I mean, okay, yeah, the recent couple of years it's been better, but it's still only a couple of matches, and it's like on a card that's 6 hours long or whatever.
Well, we're guaranteed 3 unless one of them gets pushed to the pre-show.
Potentially, it would
at Mania. Potentially. Are they going to have a women's battle royal again, like they did last year or the previous years or whatever it was?
Probably. Do they have enough people for it?
They put NXT people in it before.
Oh, so. Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough, maybe.
They'll probably get Tony Storm or Rhea Ripley or somebody to pop over from NXT UK as well.
I fucking hope so.
What, to watch a battle royal? They're never great, are they?
No, but at least they'd be on Mania.
But it would probably be on the pre-show.
Maybe.
Anyway, moving on. Oh, what did Nick have to say about this? I can't wait to hear this.
Okay. Let's have a look.
I take it there was nothing else you wanted to say.
No.
I'd rather just move on.
Yeah.
Move the fuck on.
He's a spot in the middle. He's noted. There's a nice suicide dive double team from Bayley.
Oh yeah, they didn't even catch Banks correctly for that.
After Tamina botches catching Sasha.
All she had to do, she's not even catching on her own. Tamina and Jax had to catch Banks after a suicide dive. A crossbody off the top rope. And Tamina fell over.
Yeah.
And then had to quickly get back up and get in position so that Bayley could hit a tope suicida while they were holding Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else that you wanted to add?
We've said pretty much everything, but I like the opening note is, oh no, not Beth on commentary, please no.
Well, it gets even better, Nick, because now she's seemingly getting in the ring again.
I'm sure he'll love it.
Now, this was a very SmackDown heavy pay-per-view. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yes, yeah, I did think that.
Because so far, if you include the horror, even the pre-show, right? So that's one SmackDown match. Usos Miz is another.
Yeah.
Asuka Rose is 3. Mm-hmm. Kofi and the Bar is 4. And US Fatal 4-Way was 5. And yeah, okay. So yeah, we're 7 matches in, and 5 of them have been SmackDown matches. 1 straight Raw, and then I guess you call that one Raw because Bayley and Banks were on Raw originally. But, they're now every brand. Yeah,
I was going to say, with the titles, you have to class them as any brand. So.
Okay, well, then we're back to another SmackDown match.
Yep.
So 6 out of 8 matches have all been SmackDown heavy.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why this pay-per-view was so good.
You might be right.
It had very little Raw input whatsoever. So, we finally get to the Heavyweight Championship match, which, after watching Kofi Kingston be told that he's going to have information or have a situation with WWE Championship, is then beaten the hell out of in a handicap match with the Bar. It is announced after the video package that featured all 3 of them.
Before you even get that far, before the video package, commentary are like, right, so we're now going to get the WWE Championship match, and the card comes up with Bryan on the left and Owens on the right, or whichever way around it was, and that's it. No one else on the screen. And there's an... I thought there was an audible bit of confusion from Graves where he's like, oh, so it's Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens, and he starts talking about it, and they're like, it's a triple threat, and he's like, I don't think it is. And then it does the video package of just the sort of two of them with the smidge of Kofi at the start, and then it gets back to the ring, and they announce that it's a triple threat, and you hear Graves go, oh, it is a triple threat.
No, I definitely heard Saxton go, huh? When they said, yeah, it's a triple threat match. So
Right. That was Saxton.
Shaggy?
I thought it was Graves. They sounded confused as the audience were at this point.
Yeah, so triple threat is announced again. And we have Kevin Owens comes out.
Yep.
And then, Daniel Bryan comes out.
Yep.
It made sense for him to come out second this time because they wanted the third entrant to be a surprise. Now, of course, everyone is now hoping about that scenario that you mentioned just now where Kofi's going to come out battered and bruised anyway, and he's just going to fight on through because he's that kind of guy. But no. Instead, the Cleveland audience and the WWE Universe were treated to the return of Mustafa Ali
I marked out a little bit.
in his flashing Sub-Zero outfit.
Yep.
To be fair, when he came out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. In a way, that makes sense, because he'd originally earned his spot in the Elimination Chamber, and he got replaced by Kofi. Vince is kind of doing you can see how it feels. Think about how Mustafa Ali felt when I had to take him out of the chamber match for injury, when you can suffer the same thing, Kofi Kingston.
Sudden thought.
Doesn't sound anything like Vince McMahon. Pow!
I thought it sounded good. Sudden thought. Does that mean we're going to get Kofi Ali at Mania instead?
No.
No?
Well, I hope not.
Be a waste of
They've
both.
still got to come up with an opponent for Bryan then, haven't they?
Yeah.
Are you not aware what happened this week?
Nope.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, so Mustafa Ali was added. The Cleveland audience were not happy.
Nope.
They chanted for Kofi on a number of occasions throughout the course of this match.
Most of it.
Fair enough. That's what they wanted. I'm sure that's what a hell of a lot of people at home wanted. But I personally was like, okay, cool. Mustafa Ali. He's going to be the same kind of match as seeing Kofi Kingston anyway. It may just be a tad more innovative.
Yeah.
And I think it was a tad more innovative than we would have seen with Kofi Kingston in it.
I think you're right. I think because we just had this storyline throughout the night of the will he won't he be in the match with Kofi. I was immediately disappointed to not hear "It's a New Day, Yes It Is," and then when I realised it was Ali's music was back up that high again, and it was like, oh, this will be just as good.
When the audience,
if not better.
Like I say, the audience were chanting for Kofi a lot, and they did boo at certain instances. But whenever Ali really pulled something spectacular off, he got the cheers and the applause for that. So
he did.
They did respect his performance.
I did like the added touch of Daniel Bryan shouting "You don't belong here" over and over again at him. I thought that was funny as hell.
That apron 450 splash was pretty sick.
Yes, it was. Good God.
Yeah.
Boy's got talent.
Indeed. And just the sound of him hitting Bryan with that was just like, oh, wow, that probably really, really hurt. But yeah, I really enjoyed it from start to finish. Kevin Owens didn't really do anything super fantastic in that match, or am I just forgetting?
I think he did, a good level of Kevin Owens, but I think Mustafa just stole that match a bit.
No, he did do that somersault planter over the top rope onto Rowan.
Yeah.
That was good. And then he smashed his face into the announce table.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, that. And he even gets up and he smacks the table, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, is that him being like, holy fuck, I nearly died?
I'm nearly going home with no teeth. But yeah, no. And again, great finish. As you were saying, Bryan slapping Ali in the face repeatedly. Rowan had taken Owens out, hit him a couple of times and threw him over the barricade. Ali's getting slapped in the face. He busts out of it, turns around, goes to springboard off the second turnbuckle, and as he turns around, Bryan catches him with a running knee square in the chest, takes him out. 1, 2, 3. So that's the second mid-air interception we've seen during a match in this pay-per-view. And yeah, Ali takes the pin. Now, I think that a reason for doing this was A, Ali takes the pin so that neither Owens nor Bryan looked weak.
Right.
So Bryan didn't have to rely on Rowan specifically helping him get the win.
Okay.
And Owens didn't get pinned and made to look weak upon his return in his return match.
True.
And by not having Kofi in the triple threat match, while everyone's still hyping about him, his momentum and everything, despite being beaten up in a handicap match, is still strong for his WrestleMania match with Bryan. That we assume is what's coming. Because that's not guaranteed.
No.
So yeah, Kofi wasn't just thrown in with we'll put Kofi in the triple threat and then we'll have Kofi versus Daniel Bryan one-on-one next month. No. So Kofi's still riding high on his momentum.
The crowd are going to be even more behind him because they didn't get to see what they wanted.
Yep. So the anticipation's even higher now.
Yep.
Ali got to get on pay-per-view after having to miss the last one. You got a surprise match card change up in the middle of the show again.
Yep.
It was brilliant. Great triple threat match with great storylines all the way around it. It was brilliant. Every aspect of that was absolutely brilliant, I thought, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Probably, in terms of just about all the bases it covered, probably the best Fastlane pay-per-view there's been in some time.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a note here from Nick. After Ali comes out, we were joking around, and he says, "Excuse me, Mr. McMahon, do you know how fast you're driving?" Saying, yeah, he's got a note here that says Owens hasn't lost a step and that he missed his trash talking during matches a lot. So,
yeah. There was a bit of that at the beginning, but not a lot. But that's not him anymore.
No. Spanish fly from Ali, holy shit.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot he hit a Spanish fly in that match. Yes, yeah, that was done very well.
Yeah, I think I even have a note about that. It's just surprising.
Don't think it was as good as the Spanish fly that Jordan Devlin did on Travis Banks in that Falls Count Anywhere match I recommended the other week through a table. But yeah, it was damn good.
This is a note I've got actually. So, what was Owens out with? What was his injury?
Knees, I think.
Knees. All right.
Do you remember when the last time we saw Kevin Owens was? Was it not when Braun Strowman launched him off the side of the cage like months ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that not literally the last time he appeared?
Probably.
Right. Okay. Sorry, you were going to say?
No, because I wasn't sure what his injury was. We thought it was a shoulder injury.
I'm sure they said it was his knees.
You're probably right. I thought it was a shoulder, and the note I was going to say was like, fucking annoys me when somebody comes back from injury in WWE, and it's like a shoulder injury, for example, and then the next 3 months is people working that shoulder as like you came back from injury from that shoulder, I'm going to work it.
It does make sense, but yeah.
It makes perfect sense, but...
So you obviously didn't like the next match, but yeah.
Well, this is the thing, and it's like, I get why you're doing it, storyline-wise, but in a predetermined sport, you don't need to. Let's not tempt fate.
Yes, yeah. I always think that. It's like, okay...
Like...
He has just come back from surgery on that. You bashing away at it is probably not the best right now.
Yeah, it's not good for us. It's not good for you. Stop it.
Weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
All round, great heavyweight championship match.
Yeah, very much so. But as to that point of the next match...
Moving on, we have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch for the umpteenth millionth time in the last 6 months.
Which we thought was going to be the main event.
Yeah. I understand why it wasn't.
Yep.
I guess. Actually, at the time, I was like, surely this should be the main event. I wish it was the main event. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, this deserves to be the main event.
Nope.
So, the stipulation, of course, is that if Becky won, she got into the triple threat match. The whole stipulation of her losing that we focused on in the last pay-per-view apparently was a non-factor. I guess that just meant that if she lost, she can shut up about this title match because she's not in it.
Yeah, I think it was just badly worded from McMahon.
Yeah. And it was the typical, right, one of us is feigning an injury, or has an injury, Bud Bunny is. But I'm going to wrestle anyway, proper underdog style. The thing is that it was literally just Charlotte Flair, more or less, battering away on Becky Lynch's leg. Sorry, Becky's leg for a bit, and then kept stopping and starting to go, "Come on, fight me! Come on, fight me!" And then Lynch would punch her in the face a few times, rinse and repeat.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it, wasn't it? And then eventually Charlotte was just like, "You're right, screw this." Figure 4, about to bridge into the figure 8, and then Rousey runs down, gets in the ring, and then just punches Lynch in the face while she's in the figure 4. Bell rings. Charlotte's disqualified. Becky's awarded the win. And that's it.
Nothing else happened.
No, seriously, that's it. That was how the match ended, and then this is what happened next. No, that was it.
Yep.
Now, my first note when I was watching this, or when I was writing my notes in between matches, the very first one I put was, boy, did we nail this in the prediction episode, because that is exactly what we said was going to happen.
Yeah.
Literally, that was the ending.
Yep.
That was the exact ending that we predicted. Now, I don't know if anybody's keeping score or if anybody paid attention to what we said in the prediction show, but apart from matches we didn't know were even going to happen, and matches changing, and matches changing altogether, we got the outcome of every single match on this card right. Every single one. The only one we didn't get right was Andrade Ray, and that's the one where the match changed. If we'd known it was going to be a 4-way, we probably would have said Joe.
Yep.
So you can count that as, yeah, we got that wrong if you like, but otherwise we got every single outcome of every other match correct. Even the triple threat match, and that changed on the night, we still got that right. Who was going to win. And the match after this one we got right. But this was the exact ending we said was going to happen for this, wasn't it? That Rousey was going to cost Flair the match. But it was done in such a lackluster way.
Yeah, it very much looked like Rousey couldn't be fucked. And then everyone else just kind of stopped, and it was like, oh, you're not going to attack each other like you have been for weeks?
Oh, no, because she's not doing the entertaining, she's not here to entertain us anymore. Even though she's still following the storyline, but whatever. So yeah, she's going to do what she's told to do, but with no zazz and pizzazz. And if she's given a mic, she's going to rant and rave and say a load of shit about the business.
Right.
Not just her opponents, the entire business. But that will be discussed in the next episode, and our opinions of that. If you can't guess by the tone of my voice already,
I literally think the worst outcome of that Mania match is if Rousey wins.
I agree. But anyway,
yeah. There was an interview with Becky that was only shown on like social media and stuff directly after the match, and it was just basically her sat on like a sound box backstage, and they're like, "Oh, so you're in the match?" And she's like, "Yep," and I'm gonna make Ronnie leave the company, and that'll be that. And it was like, okay then, thanks.
Right, okay. So yeah, Rousey did one punch on Lynch when she was on the floor in the leg lock, gave a cocky little smirk, and then literally just walked out and left the ring.
And did her, like, tough walk away.
But even then, immediately following that, Charlotte's still there. She's not been taken out or anything, or incapacitated. And all she does is stare at Lynch a bit, and then she just got out of the ring and left.
And then Lynch,
just very slowly got up, smiled, and was like, yeah, all right, I'll take that. Well, wouldn't you if you were Charlotte Flair, knowing that Lynch has still got an injured leg? Just go off on her. Well, okay, if Rousey's not going to, then I'll do it. I'll just snap your leg right now, put you back in the figure 8, and you still won't be in the match, whether you're supposed to be now or not. But no, she just left. And Lynch just stood up and was like, yay, I'm in the WrestleMania Triple Threat match. I'm
starting to wonder if Lynch may actually have some injury under there. It's not just all storyline.
Well, maybe. But I don't think so, because she's now stopped doing the whole limping with the crutch thing.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Now we've made it over the pay-per-view hump. She's dropped the crutch.
It's time to move on from these two having singles matches on pay-per-view, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Right, glad we agree on that. I'm hoping that they don't both end up on Raw. I'm hoping one of them ends up going back to SmackDown.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of this triple threat match.
Yes, please.
Still looking forward to it. Still glad it's the main event.
Can we get on with
I might have to start ignoring everything that's said every week between now and April 7th, though.
Yeah.
Because that is really starting to grind my gears. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion and might get me shit for saying this, but the women didn't do great on this pay-per-view, did they?
No, they didn't.
Notice that we've been talking about all these matches, and the ones that we've had the most negative reviews have been all the women's ones.
Which is actually surprising.
Yeah.
Like, after the last sort of, few months
last year
of everything.
More or less the last year of high quality, high caliber pay-per-view matches, these three just were not good.
No, they weren't. I mean, on paper, Asuka versus Mandy Rose.
The last women's pay-per-view match on the main roster before these three was Rousey Riot as well, right?
Oh God!
So the last 4 women's pay-per-view matches have not been good.
Dog shit.
In one of them, I wouldn't say that this tag match was that bad. The Rousey Riot one was.
Yes.
This wasn't, but it wasn't great. It was alright. It was just like, right, finally, we can acknowledge the fact of what we've all known for the last 2 months, that you're going to do a triple threat match between these three.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. And yeah, Asuka Rose is just like, I think it's too early for Rose. But yeah, it just didn't connect with any of the women's matches for me.
No,
on this pay-per-view. It was definitely a weak night for them. And I say that, sad. not taking a pop shot, not being cruel, because, I've said how much I've loved all the women's wrestling just now and on the previous episodes, but yeah, it just was not good for any of them Sunday night, in my personal opinion.
And I agree.
So now we move on to the main event.
Before we get there...
Oh, you want to do the Elias things now?
Well, that's when it culminated.
Right, okay, go on.
So, I missed off the other one. I missed off when the other Elias thing was. I don't think I actually noted it down. No, I didn't. So, it doesn't really matter when the other one was. But there was another one throughout the night.
It was after Kofi in the bar.
Right, okay. And then this was the third time. So, in all 3 occasions of Elias coming out, it was, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And he sings his fucking song about, basically what...
He slagged off Cleveland 3 times, basically.
Yeah, slagged off Cleveland 3 times.
Miz
and
twice.
And the matches previous. And it... I don't know. What's your thoughts on
He
Elias
slagged off
in
Becky
general?
Lynch. He slagged off Kofi Kingston, and he slagged off the Miz twice, and Cleveland every single time. When it happened the first time, I was like, "This is a bit early for an Elias segment, isn't it?" And then it happened again, and I was like, "Oh, okay." At first, I was a little bit surprised he didn't get interrupted the first time. Then he came out a second time, didn't get interrupted again, and I was like, "Okay, so there's blatantly going to be a third one." And then, of course, yes, there was the third one. The third one ended, again, uninterrupted, and Elias himself was even like, hey, this is how it should be every time, no interruptions. And then Lacey Evans comes out. And Elias doesn't look too upset to see Lacey Evans, but of course, he obviously hasn't been paying attention for the last month, because all she did was walk down the ramp, wave, turn around, and walk back again. And the camera cuts to Elias watching her walk up the ramp, and then suddenly, from out of nowhere, Randy Orton RKO's him. And then Randy Orton stood there in the ring, juddering around like Randy Orton does. And he turns around, and he eats a phenomenal forearm from AJ Styles.
From out of nowhere, seemingly.
Now, they had interviewed AJ Styles in the pre-show and asked him, what's going on with Randy Orton, and he was like, oh yeah, it's Randy Orton. He's a bit of a bully, always has been. He's just trying to do it to me. Screw him. And they're like, oh yeah, but Randy Orton gets in your head, man. He could be like getting in your head without you even knowing it. Are you ready for that, AJ? Are you ready for that? And it's like, yeah. And I guess that was
AJ
him
fucking Styles, thanks.
proving it. But yeah, he didn't run down the ramp. There was no crowd cheering. Half of them didn't even realise he was there. He was just suddenly up in the corner.
I didn't fucking realise he was there till he was halfway through Orton's face.
Yes, yeah, so did I. I was like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's AJ Styles. And there he goes. Phenomenal forearm. Excellent. Okay. Yay. But has he been under the ring the entire night? I understand, like, Orton running in through the audience and suddenly just jumping the barrier, sliding in RKO. But as I say, Styles, I don't think, did that.
Right, yeah.
And nobody heard him run down. The crowd weren't going, "Oh my God, I so that's just to me that he'd been under the ring all night.
Jesus.
Which they do.
Yeah, they've done that.
Well, they do that loads of times. And I know from listening to Something to Wrestle With that they don't come through when the lights go out in the middle of the night. They're under the ring before the show starts. They're given a bottle of water and something to eat and a TV monitor to see what's going on. And then they come out with their segment, even if it's coming through the ring in the main event or something. So they're there for 4 hours, unable to go and take a piss or a shit or anything in between.
That's fucking amazing. I always did wonder, because I always thought surely not. Surely it's just, very well rehearsed of getting over the barrier and into the ring in, however many seconds it is. But that's nuts.
Yeah. I know, right?
That's fucking nuts.
Vince McMahon for you. Anyway, Main event time. The Corbin crew. I so wish that's what they were calling them.
I know.
The Corbin crew, consisting of Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and
everybody's fucking favourite.
the almighty Bobby Lashley, sans the hype man, as he got bulldozed by Braun Strowman the Raw before.
Yeah.
Hey! Probably my favourite Braun Strowman moment all year so far. Versus the final reincarnation of The Shield.
For the final time. Did you know?
Yes, I didn't point that out enough times. It's the final time. The final time.
Because Dean's not re-signed his contract, did you know?
Yeah, first of all...
God, did they not stop saying that?
Yeah, and now they're still saying it's up in the air. But anyway, I found it weird that they were quite happy to just flat out state that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember what his bloody name is. Sam Roberts, is it, on the pre-show? He said it. And I was like, oh. But you're one of the podcast guys. Who's for some reason is suddenly being paid by WWE to give your opinions. So I kind of expect
that would be nice right here.
I know, but episode 3. Anyway,
yeah. True.
So you're likely to say things that you're not supposed to say because you're like, oh, let's go back to my podcast. So I was like, maybe he shouldn't have actually been allowed to say that. But then Michael Cole and everybody else is saying it repeatedly, apart from Renee Young, of course. She didn't seem to want to say anything.
That's a very good point as well. Didn't notice that.
So, I found it strange that they were quite happy to just flat out state for fact that he's going. Good match. This pay-per-view was very tag heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
5. No. Is it 5? No, sorry, it wasn't 5. Yeah, well, yeah, including pre-show.
I was going to say including the bar. Have you already included that?
No. So, pre-show tag, 3 tag team championships, and this 6-man tag. Yeah, so 5 on the whole card out of half this pay-per-view was tag team matches, which is cool. Very, very glad about that.
Yeah. It's nice. It's a fucking change.
Was a little bit hit and miss in this match.
Yes.
Towards the end.
Some of the in-crowd spots felt really rushed. You saw exactly where the fuck they were going with it. It didn't feel like they built to it too much. They got out there pretty fucking quickly when they started heading that way. They were suddenly there, and the way the camera was pointing, you could see that little balcony that.
This is when Seth jumped from the stands to the outside. The match had been going on for a while before that happened.
No, I know. That's not. Yeah, I meant when they started going out there, they were suddenly over by the.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah, you didn't actually see them going over the barrier or anything. It's just all of a sudden they're out there. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
and the camera turns away, turns back, and Seth's up high and flying. And it was like, okay, right, fine.
I mean, it was a feel-good moment. What you expected, to be honest. I didn't really see anything too special about it. Things that I liked, though. Let's come up with some positives. Baron Corbin was made to look very strong in that match.
Yes, he was. Yeah, very much so. Like, even at the very end, when it was just him left in the ring, it was like all of the Shield took him down. It wasn't just Roman or just Seth or anything. It was all three of them that took him down. And even though he was stumbling to get up, it was like...
Well, I think he was stumbling to get up before they decided to batter him. That was likely to happen regardless of whether he was going to stand up or not. What I mean was he hit an absolutely sick deep six on Roman Reigns.
Oh, fuck yeah. It was great.
I always love watching him do that move. But usually he hits it on cruiserweights and he hits it with such velocity and speed. It's just like, yeah. And that's how he hit Roman Reigns with it. And it was brilliant. Then they kind of had the interchange in the middle where he took a boot in the face from Roman Reigns, who didn't lift his leg up early enough, I think.
Yep.
Or he didn't duck high enough when he does his weird duck under, slide back in clothesline deal.
I thought Reigns fucked that up because, like, it's, you know, that's one of Corbin's signature moves. That he ducks under the rope and spins around and comes back up again. And he hit him, and he still did it almost like, no, Roman, I was doing my thing.
Yeah. It didn't look right. Anyway, it did look like he'd seriously taken a massive smash in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I thought that Reigns had like seriously messed his mouth up because he slides back in the ring and Reigns hits him with the Superman punch, the first of many. And when he pinned him, it looked like he had blood coming all down his face.
It did, didn't it?
But it was in fact Roman's hair. It was just strands of Roman's longer hair was just kind of covering his face in that way.
Of the light, wasn't
it? And it looked like it was blood. Was coming like trickles of blood. It was going in all directions across his face, but it was in fact Roman's hair.
Yeah.
And then he eventually. Eventually you have Lashley and McIntyre get up on the apron. There's a Superman punch again.
Yeah.
McIntyre gets knocked off the apron or gets down, and Reigns turns around and gets hit with the End of Days, and Corbin goes to pin him, which he does. 1, 2, and it's broken up by Rollins and Ambrose, literally at the very last second.
Yeah.
But Reigns stayed led down with his shoulders on the mat for another couple of seconds after that pin breakup. It's not like he rolled up straight away or anything, or was like, don't worry guys, thanks for helping me out. I had it, but thanks for helping me anyway. It was like, no. Roman Reigns was beaten just then. Baron Corbin beat him with the End of Days. That was it. And even like Graves was just like, Roman Reigns was beat. Roman Reigns was done right there and then. And it's like, yeah, the way he did it, by not rolling up straight away or reacting at all, just lying there regardless, made Baron Corbin look like he just beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very good. Ambrose took a Claymore. Didn't look convincing at all.
No.
I don't know if it was just like there was no smack or anything to accompany it. Ambrose just stumbled back and went through the ropes. And I'd put that as a low point.
Ambrose does that sometimes. Like he does like a really weird thing, and it's an entertainment thing, not a wrestling thing. And it's like he gets hit into the ropes, and he kind of does a really weird fumble through the ropes, and it's like, he's fallen through in a funny way.
For me, it was more that the Claymore just did look like a piece of shit in that particular. It just didn't look good at all, and the audience didn't react to it in any way, shape, or form either. What was the point in Lashley even being there? Because he did nothing.
He did fuck all.
He hit a spear. That was it. Was it not?
He did one thing that made me laugh, and this is all fairness, and it was definitely a fuck up on his part. He went to tag out, and he puts his hand up to McIntyre, and McIntyre looks at him like, the fuck are you doing? And then Corbin just leans in and goes, dickhead, and tags himself in. And Lashley's like, oh, yeah. And then he turns like, oh, yeah, it was to Corbin. Like, he completely missed who he was supposed to fucking tag to and just picked someone.
Smooth.
And like, Drew McIntyre's Scottishness very much came through of a look of, the fuck are you doing, Lashley?
Of course, the ending came with Lashley took a stomp on the announce table.
Yeah.
Corbin got speared. McIntyre. To be fair, the Corbin crew were going to do the Shield Bomb on Roman through one of the announce tables, and instead, McIntyre took the Shield Bomb through the table, and then they did the Shield Bomb on Corbin in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Roman Reigns is back. Yay! The Shield won their last ever match together, and that was it. Pay-per-view ended.
Yep.
So, all in all, what did you think for the last piss stop before WrestleMania?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a hell of a lot better than I was expecting. But there's one thing in particular I thought was very much missing. And it was something we discussed on the prediction show. No Lesnar. Now, I'm going to take a guess, having not seen Raw's results or anything, that he popped up this week on Raw?
No.
No?
Oh, it's even crazier than that, dude.
Really?
Oh, yes.
We'll get to that later?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, so, I mean, I just thought, we very much expected Lesnar to be a factor in that match, and I was waiting for it the whole time. And I was like, all right, Seth's hit his big spot now where he jumps off the thing. Now Lesnar's going to come out and fuck him up. And he didn't.
No, he didn't get out of bed to come and be involved and remind people that he was having a match. Apparently, he's going to have to spend the next 4 weeks doing it. Because they haven't been doing it since January.
Nope.
So, yeah. I did actually put that. It was a feel-good moment. Again, to be expected, but a missed opportunity to include Lesnar. Never mind. Yeah. Say la vie. And no Dean Ambrose heel turn, like we also kind of suggested.
Yeah.
Anything Nick wanted to say?
He's got a note here that McIntyre saved the match up in a couple of places. That doesn't say much more than that. He says quite a lot of what we've just said. McIntyre through the Spanish table pushes F.
Okay. That's obviously his thing. I'm going to have to get him a t-shirt made with that on.
Yep.
2 or 3 things that we didn't mention. This month's pre-show match didn't just have 1 fucking advert interruption. It had 2.
Yeah.
So they doubled down on that really, 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 really fucking annoying thing that they do. Dicks.
Yeah. Everybody hates it. Let's do it twice.
And they decided... what I also hate is... I mean, it's all great for diversity and everything, but the fact that they've got 20 fucking announce teams now that they have to introduce us to during pay-per-views, and they always have to do it during someone's entrance. And in this particular instance, it was the Revivals. And it's like, they're the fucking champions.
Yeah.
Of all the 3 people who should be, of all the people entering this match, they're the ones you should be giving the fanfare to. This is the shit they complain about. Apparently that was them just fucking with us.
Yeah.
They never asked for their release in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just saw it on the internet and just like, yeah, fuck it, let's run with this just because these dickheads don't know what they're chatting about.
Fucking brilliant.
At least that's what Dash Wilder said on some interview. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, intermixing topics. For the pay-per-view that is literally has the reputation of being the filler pay-per-view before Mania, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
As Backlash is always the WrestleMania repeat pay-per-view, Fastlane is always the, who really gives a shit? Even though we had literally every title but the IC and the Universal, right?
Yeah.
And Cruiserweight. And technically, United Kingdom, as that is the WWE United Kingdom Championship, not NXT. And no title changes. And the fact that you and I accurately predicted every single result. It was a good watch.
Yeah, I still really enjoyed it.
So it was predictable as fuck, but so many surprises.
Yeah.
Setting up multiple feuds, whether we want to watch all of them or not.
No. But somebody will want to... there's something there for everyone.
It's a very sad handicap match to have to sit through.
Yeah.
And apart from, the women just not hitting it in their stride this particular month, great pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I really, really solidly enjoyed it. From start to finish. And that's the last bit pay-per-view that there is until the big one, the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals, WrestleMania 35.
Yeah. So, just off the back of that, are you looking forward to WrestleMania anymore?
I don't remember saying I was looking forward to it in the first place, but I'm looking forward to that triple threat match.
Yeah.
I am not looking forward to Batista Triple H.
No. And we'll talk about that a lot more on the next episode.
I am looking forward to Miz Shane McMahon.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's it. I don't know any other matches for definite. So yeah, I mean that's it for matches that I know.
Yeah, I don't think I know of any more. I mean, there's the rumour of Roman Reigns versus Corbin.
I've been hearing it'll be McIntyre now.
Okay, I'd much prefer that.
Oh yeah, sorry. See, this is how much of an afterthought it's become.
Oh yeah,
Brock and Seth. No, I'm not actually looking forward to seeing that.
No, I'm not. I predict Seth to win it, but
I'm hoping, praying it's going to be one of those, right, I'm a smaller guy, I can actually get something out of Lesnar matches.
Yeah.
And not one of those, here's 20 minutes of Brock just doing suplexes.
Which is the single most boring fucking thing.
I've seen it in too many title matches.
Yeah.
Who knows, based on what happened on Raw, who knows what the fuck is going on. But we'll talk about that in our next episode, which will be uploaded. Well, it should already be there at the same time as this one. Yeah, this has been the Zamboni Fastlane review show. It gets a thumbs up from us.
Yep.
Hey! And now we'll be moving on to the talk of what's been going on. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to have to be very lightning fast, so you're going to have 5 hours of discussion to listen to, and we've only got like 2 hours to record it in. So yeah, peace out for now. If you're not going to listen to that, we'll see you when we do our WrestleMania and TakeOver New York predictions and review shows.
Yeah. Peace.